नमस्ते। श्रियं च दद्यात् भवतां पुरारिः यदङ्गतेजः प्रसरे भवानी विराजते निर्मलचन्द्रिकायां महौषधीव ज्वलिता हिमाद्रम्. Let us begin today's session with this Dhyana Shloka of Sharagathara Samhita. Today I am talking on a topic which of course you know, but with slight more elaboration and discussion. That is Karana as a part of fundamental principle of Vaisheshya Kalpana. All of you in your undergraduate and postgraduate studies have studied about various fundamental principles of Vaisheshya Kalpana. If you see different texts, different type of description are given. Some have given some 3-4 principles. Some have given some 10 different parameters that can be considered under fundamental principles. However, whatever the description that we have, what I personally feel is Karana or Samskara is the actual fundamental principle of Vaisheshya Kalpana. So let us talk today on this concept of Karana under the title of fundamental principles of Vaisheshya Kalpana. I am not explaining other parameters. I will be focusing myself only to Karana or Swabhavikanam Dravyanam Abhisamskara. So the title of my presentation is Karana as a fundamental principle of Vaisheshya Kalpana or Ayurvedic pharmaceutics, a scientific approach. As we are all aware, Ayurveda has two basic objectives, Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshanam and Aturasya Vikara Prashamana. Whenever we talk about Aturasya Vikara Prashamanam, to be specific, that is the cure of the diseases in the ailing and afflicted, and also to some extent Swasthasya Swasthya Rakshanam or the promotion and preservation of health also. Bheshaja is one of very important requisites. Under Chikitsa Chatushpada, Bheshaja is given its own importance. It is considered as one important pillar for the successful accomplishment of the treatment. In Charaka Samhita Vimanasthana 8th chapter, Shloka number 87 is quoted, Bheshajam nama tat yat upakaranayopakalpate bheshajaka dhatu samyabhinirvritto payatamanasya. The Bheshaja is defined as an instrument with the help of which a physician puts his effort to bring back the homeostasis. So in Bhaishajya Kalpana, when we explain the term Bhaishajya Kalpana, we always say that it has got two parts, Bhaishajya and Kalpana. When we explain the term Bhaishajya, we say that it is derived from Bheshaja. Bhesham Rogabhayam Jayati iti Bheshajam. Bhesham iti Rogabhayam. Bhesha means fear of disease. Jayati, one which conquers the fear of disease, is Bheshaja. Bheshru Bhaye Ji Jaye. So this constitutes Bheshaja. Tadeva Yuktam Bhaishajyam Yat Arogyaya Kalpate. An ideal medicine or Bhaishajya is the one which brings back health or normalcy or homeostasis. When the second part of Vaisheshya Kalpana is considered, Kalpana is the term that is used most probably for processing. Kalpanam yojanam ityarthaha according to Arunadatta. It is planning. Kalpanam, Upayogartha Prakalpanam, Samskaranam iti, according to Chakrapani Datta. So this indicates that combining various drugs, processing them in such a manner that they certainly become efficacious in curing a disease is nothing but Kalpana, or ultimately Bhaishajya Kalpana. So on the basis of all these textual references and definitions, Kalpana can be considered as a process through which a substance is prepared into medicine form by using selected raw materials according to physician's requirement. So in total, we can say that Bhaishajya Kalpana refers to Ayurvedic pharmaceutics. When we talk about Adharabhuta Siddhanta of Bhaishajya Kalpana, let us just recall the term Siddhanta. Siddhanta is defined in Charaka Samhita Vimanasthana, 8th chapter, as Siddhanto Ramayah Parikshakaihi Bahuvidham Parikshya Hetubhischa Sadhayitva Sthapyate Nirnaya. Siddhanta is a conclusive statement arrived after the subject is repeatedly examined or tested by the experts with various parameters and proved with proper reasoning. So we can say Siddhanta as almost truth or scientifically validated principle. Hence, by the term Adharabhuta Siddhanta, we may consider the fundamental principles of a science. So these are the principles on which the whole science is based, evolved, and developed. When I talk about Adharabhuta Siddhanta of Bhaishajya Kalpana, I usually quote these parameters. Karana as the first and foremost parameter, which talks about basic processes to bring about transformation in natural attributes. In the second part, I consider Paribhasha, glossary of scientific terms, Mana Prakarana, science of weights and measures, Anukta Visheshokta Dravya Grahana, principles for the collection of raw drugs, Panchavidha Kashaya Kalpana, or 5 fundamental formulations, Rasapanchaka, 5 basic pharmacological properties, Aushadhanamakarana Siddhanta, principles of naming a recipe, Bheshaja Marga, or routes of administration of medicines, Aushadha Sevanakala, or time of administration of medicines, Matra or posology, Anupana or adjuvant or vehicle, Saviryata Avadhi or shelf life of the formulations, and at the end, some very special information given by Charaka Samhita in Kalpasthana 12th chapter, Charakokta Vishesha Vichara. Anyway, today I will be focusing only on Karana. Karana is also called as Samskara in Charaka Samhita. It is stated, Karanam Punaha Swabhavikanam Dravyanam Abhisamskara. So Karana is the bringing about the transformation in the natural attributes of a drug. What is samskara then? Samskaro hi gunantaradhanam uchyate. Gunantara adhanam uchyate. It is again bringing about changes or transformation in the guna or natural qualities of a drug, and how these changes are brought about. These changes are brought about by certain processes. It is said, te gunaha toyagni sannikarsha shaucha manthana desha kala vasana bhavana dubhi kala prakasha bhajana dibhischa adhiyante. So karana is nothing but samskara, which is the process that results in changes in the natural properties of the substance. And these are all the processes through which we bring about changes in the properties of the drug. In entire Vaishajya Kalpana, we are doing the same. We are doing the processes. It is an art. It is an art and science of pharmacy. We are doing the processes with the help of which we may be combining the drugs, we may be deleting the drugs, we are processing in such a way that we get the required qualities appear in the formulation, which is helpful for treating a particular condition. So these are the parameters or methods or the processes by which such changes can be brought about. Toya Sannikarsha, Agni Sannikarsha, Shaucha, Manthana, Desha, Kala, Vasana, Bhavana, Kala Prakarsha, Bhajana, etc. There are some more parameters also here. Let us talk on each of these with certain examples. First, Toya Sannikarsha. Gangadhara has given a theoretical description for this. He says, Toya Sannikarsha Vashena Kathina Kharadi Gunavatam Dravyanam Mrudu Masrinadi Gunadhanam Syat. That is, due to the contact with water, the qualities of a drug like Kathina, Khara, etc. can be changed into opposite qualities, mrudu, masrina, etc. Next samskara mentioned is Agni Sannikarsha. It is commented as Agni Sannikarsha Vashena Shita Mrudu Drava Masrinadi Gunavatam Ushna Kathina Sandra Karatvadi Gunadhanam. Due to the contact of Agni, qualities like Shita, Mrudu, Drava, and Masrina of a drug can be transformed into opposite qualities Ushna, Kathina, Sandra, Khara, etc. They have given an example Yatha Vrihe Guroho Laghavo Raja Bharjana. Vrihi or paddy, which is Guru in nature, when roasted, it pops up to form Laja, and this Raja is Laghu in nature. That is, Guru Guna present in Vrihi is converted into Laghu Guna of Laja by a samskara, that is a Bharjana, which is nothing but Agni Sannikarsha. Shaucha. This is the third samskara mentioned here. Shaucha Vashenatu Dravyanam Shodhanena Yatha Vishatulya Gunanam Tamradinam Gunantarathanam Ashuchi Dravya Vastradinam Dhautadinam Shaucha Gunathanam. Shaucha means cleansing, purification, or entire concept of Shodhana described in Rasa Shastra falls under this samskara, Shaucha. It may be simple physical cleansing of a material like washing the cloth to remove the dirt, or it may be the entire concept of Shodhana. Vishatulya Gunanam Tamradinam Gunadha. Visha property, toxic property of Tamra can be removed by a process that is Shodhana, that is also considered as Shaucha. So Shaucha refers to the purification of the drugs, like the detoxification procedure of the metals like copper, converting them into safe form. It can also imply the meaning of a physical purification, like washing the dirty clothes. So in the context of Vaishagya Kalpana, we can consider the whole concept of Shodhana under this title. Further, Acharya Chakrapani Datta has taken all these three terms, Toya Sannikarsha, Agni Sannikarsha, Shaucha, together, and he has mentioned as Toya Agni Sannikarsha Shauchaihi Tandulastham Gauravam Upahatya Laghavam Anne Kriyati Yaduktam Sudhautah Prasrutah Svinnah Santaptascha Vodano Laghu Toyagni Sannikarsha Shauchaihi. By combining these three principles, what is done? Raw rice is taken, it is washed, that is Toya Sannikarsha. Sorry, it is Shaucha. And this rice is taken, in a vessel and added with water, that is Toya Sannikarsha. Then it is heated, that is Agni Sannikarsha. So washing the rice, that is Shaucha. Adding water to rice taken in a vessel, that is Toya Sannikarsha or contact with water. Then heating it or cooking it, that is Agni Sannikarsha. By this, raw rice is converted into cooked rice or Anna, where the properties change. It is said, Sudhautaha prasrutaha swinnaha santaptascha odano labu. If you prepare odana or if you cook rice after washing it properly, if it is well cooked and water is decanted and consumed hot, it acts as laghu. Otherwise, tandula or raw rice by nature is guru. Raktashalyadehe laghorapi Agni Sanyogadina Laghavam Varthate. Rice like Raktashali may be Laghu in nature, but its Laghu Guna is further enhanced by the process of Agni Sannikarsha. That is what Chakrapani states. In the context of Bhaishajya Kalpana, we can consider any of these processes wherever heat is involved as Agni Sannikarsha. For Toya Sannikarsha, soaking of a drug in water can be considered. While preparing Kashaya, the drugs are coarsely powdered, they are washed, that is Shaucha, added with water, that is Toya Sannikarsha, and boiled, that is Agni Sannikarsha, to reduce up to the desired level. So in the preparation of Kashaya, all the three, Toya Agni Sannikarsha Shaucha, as considered by Chakrapani, are incorporated. If you are talking Kevala Toya Sannikarsha, only contact with water, Himakalpana is an example. For Kevala Agni Sannikarsha, Tankana Shodhana, where we are roasting Ashuddha Tankana powder till it pops up and sound disappears. Similarly, we have Spatika Shodhana, Gandhaka Patana, Bhallataka Taila Patana, Puta for the preparation of Bhasma, Kramagni Paka for the preparation of Pupi Pakwarasa like Rasa Sindura. Here, Kevala Agni Sannikarsha can be considered. Next samskara is Manthana or churning. Chakrapani states, Shothakrit Dathi Shothagnam Sasnehamapi Manthana. Dathi or curd, which is Shothakara by nature, when simply churned, even if you do not remove sneha from it, even if you maintain butter inside, just by churning action, it becomes Shotakara. Gangadhara states, Manthana Vashena Dadhyadinam Manthanena Takradi Rupena Pariname Swadu Saugandhyadi Gunadhanam. When takra is prepared by churning dadhi, its quality gets transformed. In Bhaishajya Kalpana, we can consider Mantha Kalpana like procedure, like say for example, Kharjuradi Mantha, where Manthana or churning is followed. We have a Sikata Pradhana Yoga mentioned in Rasamrutam, where Triphala Rasa Kriya, Mathu, etc., along with finely powdered Sikata are churned to get an avaleha like a consistency. We have Basti Dravya Sammelana, where Makshikam, Lavanam, Sneham, Kalkam, Kvathmeti, Kramat. A sequential mixing of the components are done. Here churning is a very important process. And all the Takra Kalpanas, where Machita, Udashvit, Chachika, Ghola are prepared. Churning is a process that is involved. So this is the traditional method of churning. This is khaja or churner that is used. Next samskara mentioned is desha. Chakrapani considers desha as the place where medicine is kept for processing. He states, Deshena yatha Bhasmarashehe adhah stapayet itya. Like keeping Sandhana Patra inside the heap of ash, or inside Dhanya Rashi, or inside Yava Rashi. Whereas Gangadhara has considered multiple aspects by the term Desha. He states, Deshavashena tu Jangalanopasadharanadi Deshavashena Sharira Ahara Aushadhi Dravyanam Kathinya Ardra Sandra Tikshnatwadi Gunadhanam Bhavati. So based on these commentaries, what we can say is that Desha may be Bhumi Desha, it may be Aushadha Sthapana Desha, or it may be Deha Desha. So in the context of Ayurveda, all these three opinions can be incorporated. Bhumi Desha refers to the geographical area. During the collection of raw drugs, one should give due importance to the place of collection as the variation in the qualities is observed. Place of keeping the drugs for proper transformation is very important. For example, keeping the Sandhana Patra or the vessel for fermentation of Asavarishta is very, very essential. It may be buried in the ground or it may be kept inside the heap of grass or grains. Similarly, in the case of Ayaskriti, it is mentioned to keep the vessel inside Yavarashi. This is to maintain an optimum temperature, to regulate the temperature, to minimize the temperature variation. Deha Desha, where constitution of the patient is given due importance to decide the type, strength, dose, and time of administration of the medicine. We can just check the scientific evidences. So this is a study carried out on Shalaparni or Desmodium gangeticum. Seasonal and geographical variation in cellular characters of Desmodium along with the chemical contents also was studied by Jayanti A, Prakash Kumar U and A.R. Ramashri, and it was published. Abstract states that phytochemical changes due to various seasons and different regions were studied by performing HPLC densitometric quantification of marker component here, that is lupiol, in methanol extract of the roots. Even microscopic variation observed in the quantity of cell inclusions, number of fibers and wall thickness of liquefied cells. Physicochemical parameters also showed variation. It was found that lupiol was very low in young plant, whereas quantity of lupiol was high when the plant was matured and started giving flowers. According to the altitude, also the differences were observed. Lupiol was high in the roots collected from high altitude, and it was lowest in the plants collected from the plains. So we can clearly see the influence of the geographical area on chemical constituents and also cellular nature of a plant material. So consideration of desha is very important as it can modify the properties and efficacy of the product. In another study published in Songla Nakarin Journal of Science and Technology, the results showed that total saponin content in Brahmi Bacopa muniri, mainly Bacopa sites, which are the saponin, were the highest in rainy season, and it was highest in the shoot part of the Brahmi. So these findings indicate that the quantity of saponin can vary in different parts of the plant and also in the samples collected in different time period. We have lots of such references which talk about the influence of altitude, influences of temperature, diurnal variation, fertilizers, soil, etc. Ontogenetic variations in some of the secondary metabolites in the plants are also well recognized. That simply states that Desha and Kala, both have clear influence on the phytoconstituents of a plant. So next samskara is kala here. Kala vashena punah संवत्सर अवयव ऋतु दिन रात्र्यादि वशेन स्थावर जंगमानां गुण विशेषाः फलादीनां आम अपक्वादीनां अम्ल मधुरादि गुणाकानं भवति। एवं बाल्य यौवन वार्धक्य अवस्था कालवशेन रूप प्रमाण बुद्ध्यादि गुणानां आधिक्यादि प्रमाणादि गुणाकानं च भवति। This is how Gangadhara comments. So in Ayurveda, by the term Kala in relation to Vaishuddha Kalpana, we can consider the time of collection of the drugs, Dravya, Sangrahana Kala, time of administration of the medicine or Aushadha, Sevana Kala, maturity of the plant part, that is, Vaya of the plant itself. Regarding collection according to the season, I have already given the example of scientific papers which has shown the difference in the concentration of the phytochemicals when the same plant is collected in different seasons. Text has very clearly given the description that which part has to be collected in which season. Like Shakha in Varsha Vasanta, Patra in Varsha Vasanta, Moola in Shishira and Grishma, Kandatvak in Sharat, tubers and rhizomes in Sharat, Kshira in Sharat, Heartwood or Sara in Hemanta, Pushpa and Phala Yatharutu, and whole plant or Panchanga in Sharad Ritu. This is Charaka Samhita's opinion. In Sushruta Samhita and Rajanipam too, you may find some differences. This is an example of reserpine and also total alkaloids of Rauwolfia serpentina collected in different seasons. You can see that concentration of total alkaloid and reserpine was maximum in the sample that was collected in rainy season. So the same plant at the same place may yield a different amount of alkaloids in different stages of development according to the maturity of the plant also. So Ayurvedic classics clearly mention whether the tender plant has to be collected or fully matured plant has to be collected. In the case of Lavanga, Pushpa Mukula or Pushpa Kalika, floral bud has to be used. It is proved that blown clove contains a less amount of volatile oil and therapeutically it is not good when compared to the floral bud. In a survey study carried out by Mr. Chowdhury and others, variation in the ratio of hyoscine and hyoscyamine depending upon the maturity of the plant Datura stramonium was reported. Here, in immature plant, the ratio of hyoscine and hyoscyamine, that is scopolamine alkaloids, was 80:20, and when the plant matured, it's almost reverse to the extent of 30:70. So this is the Datura stramonium plant. So all these clearly indicate that there is an influence of Desha and Kala for us. By the term Kala, we can also consider Amapakwadi Avastha of the plant part. For example, in the case of Bilwa, you have to take unripened fruit always, that is Ama or Apakwa Phala has to be used. In other cases, you have to take ripe only. Phalam, Amam, Apakwanam, Tyajet, Bilwa, Dhrutesam. So only in the case of Bilwa, so you have to take Apakwa Phala, whereas for other, you have to take Pakwa Phala only. And Amapakwa Avastha of disease also can be considered here. Like Ama Avastha of Shotha or Vidrati, Pachamana Avastha and Pakwa Avastha. Accordingly, our treatment modality and approach, type of medicine selected varies. So multiple factors we have to consider here in the context of Kala. Now next samskara mentioned here is Vasana samskara. Vasana is imparting or infusing odor. Apam utpaladi vasanena sugandhanukaranam. This is what Chakrapani states. So according to Chakrapani, imparting or infusing aroma to water by adding fragrant flowers like lotus, etc., is considered. In Ayurveda, Gandhanashana Vidhi of Arka, that is the process of fumigation to remove bad odor of certain arkas. Then Gandhapaka of Sneha, which imparts aroma to Sneha as described in Vaishajya Ratnavali. They all can be considered under Vasana Samskar. Next is Bhavana. This is a process which has to be explained elaborately. It is a totally different subject. Contextually, I can simply say that Bhavana definitely modifies a drug. Powdered drug is added with the specified liquid and rubbed till dryness. Chakrapani says, Bhavanaya cha swarasadikritaya sthitasya amalakyadehe gunotkarsho bhavati. By the process of bhavana with the liquids like herbal juice, the potency of the drug is enhanced. For example, amalaki rasaya. Gangadhara states, Bhavanadibihi gunaha adhiyante dravyanam dravena alodanat diva divatape shoshanam nishisthapanam ityevam vidhanam bhavana taya gunantaradhanam syat. By the process of bhavana, the qualities are infused, imparted, and modified. When the powder of the drug is added with the liquid and kept to dry under sunlight in daytime, or as it is at night, that process can also be called as bhavana, which results in gunantaradhana. Churnitasya dhatvadehi dravaihi sampesha shoshanam bhavanam tanmatam. That is what Rasatarangini states, where metals and minerals which are in powder form are ground with the liquid till dryness. Charaka Samhita Kalpasthana 12th chapter has highlighted the importance of bhavana, which states, Bhuyaschaisham baladhanam karyam swarasa bhavana. By giving bhavana of swarasa, potency of a drug can be enhanced drastically. Subhavitam hi alpamapi dravyam syat bahukarma. By giving bhavana properly, a drug, even in a small dose, can show better therapeutic efficacy. Next samskara mentioned here is kala prakarsha. That's about the time duration. For example, pakshat jatarasam pibet, according to Chakrapani. In the context of Asava and Arishta, a minimum period of 15 days is required. That is, a paksha is required for the completion of fermentation. You need a specific time duration for processing. That is called as kala prakarsha. So any specific time period mentioned for proper completion of process can be considered here. For example, in Ayaskriti, you have to keep the pot containing the drug mixture inside Yavaraj for 1 year, mixing the contents repeatedly. And in other process, it may be, say, Mardana or Bhavana for 3 hours, 6 hours, 7 days, or heating for 1 yama, 2 yama. All these are nothing but Kala Prakasha. This is the time duration which decides the transformation in the qualities. Bhajana or vessel is another part of samskara. Chakrapani says in his commentary, Bhajanena yatha kraifalena aisim patrim kalkena lepayet. In the context of Rasayana, he says that Triphala Kalka is applied to the internal surface of iron vessel and it is kept as it is for a few days. Then that Kalka is scraped and removed so that its Rasayana property is enhanced several folds. Another example is given by Gangadhara. He says, Bhajanena Chitrakadi Liptodara Kumbhadi Patrena Arishtanam Gunadhanam Marakatavat Rupadhanam Eva Adi. He says that when Sandhana Patra is applied with the paste of Chitraka and fermentation is carried out inside such Sandhana Patra, Arishta gets special properties. It becomes clear and attains a color and clarity resembling emerald or Marakata. There are various vessels that are indicated in Ayurveda, like Swarna Patra, for example, In Saraswatarishta, Swarnakumbha is mentioned. Rajatapatra is indicated. Tamrapatra, in many occasions it is mentioned, including storage of water. And in Anuktamana, Mritpatra is mentioned. It may be used for any purpose wherever type of vessel is not mentioned. Even for Saraswatarishta it is mentioned. Even for Dashamularishta, Sandhana also, Mritpatra is mentioned. So we do get the reference of Tamrapatra or copper vessel, Kansapatra or bronze vessel, Lohapatra or iron vessel, Mritpatra or earthen vessel, Swarnapatra or golden pot, Rajatapatra or silver vessel, Pashanapatra or stone container, etc. for different purposes. So there have been several research works evaluating the effect of the vessels on the food substances contained in them. It is reported that silver nanoparticles imparted from silver vessel possesses potent antimicrobial effect. Bacteria E. coli in water was found to be inactivated when water was stored in copper vessel, and hence rightly mentioned by our scholars for storage of drinking water. This is a study published by Sudha Bibi and others, which speaks about storing drinking water in copper pots and how they affect on the contaminating diarrheagenic bacteria. The antibacterial effect of copper pot against important diarrheagenic bacteria like Vibrio cholerae 01, Shigella flexneri 2a, enterotoxigenic E. coli, enteropathogenic E. coli, Salmonella angelica typhi, and Salmonella paratyphi are reported. The study has clearly indicated that here drinking water whenever stored was having almost neutral pH. After 16 hours of storage, they found that most of these bacteria were totally destroyed. No bacteria could be recovered from the water. This shows excellent antibacterial effect of copper pot. Patra samskara also can be considered under this bhajana, like lepana, where anointment is done, as in the case of Sandhana Patra, paste of Lodhra and Dhataki are applied. Or it may be Dhupana Samskara, where fumigation is done by using the drugs like Vacha, Gulu, Siddharthaka, Jatamamsi, Grita, etc. They have antimicrobial effect and also they impart fragrance to the medicine. So these are a few of the materials used for fumigation purpose. At the end, he has mentioned Adi word. By the term Adi, we can use many other processes also, like Peshana, Apimantrana, etc., according to Chakrapani. According to Gangadhara, by the term Adi, Dhanya Rashyadishu Sthapana, etc., can be considered. Many other processes, like Dhalana, Nirvapa, Avapa, Pachana, Patana, they all can be considered as various samskaras under the heading of Karana. So in total, it is evident that Karana involves various pharmaceutical processes involved in the preparation of medicines, where the drugs are subjected to different processes to get bheshaja, that is medicine. Hence, Karana can be considered as the important fundamental principle of pharmaceutical processing or Vaishajya. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for your patient listening. See you soon. I once again thank Ayurveda Network for this opportunity.